Thank you so much for booking a reading with me. I am here to deliver, and I apologize for the delay. I was supposed to get your reading out yesterday, but I was too booked. But I'm here today to deliver your reading. So you booked the heritage and lineage reading. Now I didn't. Now in the description with the heritage and lineage reading, I request that you put your current ethnicity, but that's not required because we can still do the reading regardless. But it tells me a little bit about what's coming out in your layout. The second thing is you get two questions. So let's see what you put down. You said, what ancestors are guiding me? You said you heard you have a Creole ancestor. And you said, is that true? You said, how can I form a deeper connection with them and they help me? And you said more information about culture, tradition, land, history, inheritance. You said partners, ancestors. Now, for your partners, ancestors, I would need their name, and also you would have to book it for a separate reading because it takes a lot of energy to channel just your ancestors. So that would be a separate reading if you want to do your partner's ancestors, and I need their name and preferably I would like to have their ethnicity too, or what they identify as, because it just helps your reading too. But we can see, because I'm going to see, because that's basically what your reading is about, what ancestors are claiming you in this deck. So we're going to find that out. And I'll see if any specific ancestors want to come up, but it may not be like, I may not be able to tell if they're Creole or not, but we'll see what comes out with your ancestors cards, because it doesn't necessarily say Creole, but it'll tell you what tribe if available. And we'll get to your other question too. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this reading. How it works is I'm going to roll the dice, and whatever number falls out, and I'm rolling the dice twice so we can get a good number, but I roll the dice twice and get a number, and this is the minimum amount of cards that I can pull. More cards can always fall out of the deck, and that's fine, but this will be the minimum. So that way, just in case I keep shuffling and I feel like there's no cards coming out, if it says 3 cards, then I'm going to at least pull until I get 3. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we got the number of 5, and I'm going to roll one more time. Got the number of 2, so 6 and 7. All right, so 7 cards minimum, but that's not the max. Like I said, if more cards come out, that's fine. The more the merrier. Just a disclaimer as well. I always give out this disclaimer before I start the reading. You are not limited to this information. So if you have a Creole ancestor, it don't come out in this, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can still have that, right? Because this deck is very limited. It has a lot of cards, but it's still limited to what I have in here. It contains, well, it has a semi-wide variety. I'm not gonna say it has a full wide variety, but basically I don't limit anybody to what's in this reading. This is just a stepping stone to push you in the right direction. You can still take a DNA test if you want to. You can still do all those things. I encourage it because your ancestors will guide you to all the information that you need. Okay. Though I have my tribes, I'm not limited to that information. They'll come to me, letting me know more ancestry along the way. So let's go ahead and get you started. is one. That is two. Actually three. I see three. 4 and 5. 6. 8, 9. Okay. See what we got on the table here. We clearly got more than 7. All right, let's get started. I normally don't pick my deck back up once I put it down, but let's see what we got so far. So this came out. Towards the end. So this may be, well, it could be prevalent in your ancestry, but there's Cherokee Indian. There's some Cherokee Indian ancestors that are claiming you. So you have some Native American heritage. You got a lot of Native American heritage because you got the Apache tribe too. Apache, and then you have Cherokee. Interesting. Okay, let's see what this says here. It says many ancestors wish to influence your beliefs. Many ancestors wish to influence your beliefs. So what this means is you could be feeling pulled in many different directions spiritually, but this is because of your ancestors. You may have, some ancestors who are Native American. You may have some ancestors who are African, and you may feel very confused spiritually, or just pulled in many directions spiritually, like you don't have any set beliefs because you might feel drawn to a lot of things. This is because of your ancestors. So any confusion that you have spiritually, it can be attested to many ancestors wanting to teach you things, which is nothing wrong with mixing anything, in my opinion. It's just if you ever feel confused, know that it is because there may be more ancestors stepping forth to try to teach you things at once. Okay, so that's one thing to look at. All right, so you have hard to trace your ancestry. We will come in your dreams. So they're definitely telling you that not all your ancestors are going to be in this reading, and it could be because your ancestors are not in my deck, first off. But another thing is because maybe the tribal name changed, because a lot of times that happens. The tribe that was called, I don't know, the Balantas back in the day could be called something different now. Okay. And that does happen, especially in Africa. There used to be with the Fulanis, which I'm Fulani and Yoruba, but Fulanis, they are called many different things. The Wadobways, they're called other things too, but it can get very confusing because in different places your tribal name might have changed. Some stay the same, but again, names that tribes are called is more like a new thing to me. Okay, it's just like an English term over something that is, that might be very indigenous. Okay, so that's one thing to look at. Let's see what this is. Asian, which makes sense because you got Native ancestry too, but you have Asian ancestry. Now, this doesn't get very specific in my deck, so this is probably why they're saying hard to trace your ancestry, but you got some Asian ancestry as well. All right, let's see what else you got. First time I got this card, it says farmers, hunters, and gatherers. Farmers, hunters, and gatherers. So this basically means that your ancestors were very self-sufficient, and that is an attribute of Native tribes as well, because we know that, by common knowledge, everybody should know that the ancestors, the Native American ancestors, they really very self-sufficient. They didn't waste any part of the animal. They might use the fur. They will use every part of the body. Nothing would go wasted, and it was respect to the animal that was just sacrificed for them to eat. So hunters and gatherers, you're going to have a great connection to nature, first off, but you're also going to be a person that may be very connected to farming, or maybe wanting a garden and things like that. You may want to, not only cook your own food, but make your own food, grow your own food, things like that. Okay. So that's important to see. What else do you have? Okay. It says in your past life, you were a different race. in your past life, you were a different race. So this card can be a little bit tricky, okay? Because it basically means, and because my tradition, we still, for me, the past life still is associated with your ancestry. How is that? Because in your past life, um, in my tradition, you are your great 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 grandmother, or you might have some attributes closely related to that person, because we believe that you come back. We believe that you reincarnate into the same family. Okay, so if 7 generations back I was Asian, then I lived my life as a different race. Does that make sense? So if 7 generations back my grandmother was Asian, then that means that I was Asian. Even though I'm black today, I was Asian back in the day. So that's how I would associate that. But for you, it depends on what you believe. You could have just been lived your life as a different race, and it may not have any connection to your ancestry per se. It's just you were reincarnated into a different body. But for me, it's all connected. Okay, but it's up to you, because past life and reincarnation, to me, those can be personal beliefs that you have, but they are definitely saying that in your past life you operated in a different body. So this is why you may not have too many issues with getting along with different races and things like that. You may be very open because you have an understanding, because you might have lived your past life as that race. All right, so let's move on. So this is funny. Iba Shegun. All right, because these are my ancestors, but you share ancestry with this tribe as well. It says the Yoruba tribe. Yoruba tribe. So if you know anything about the Yoruba spirituality, you know that we believe in Ifa. And in Ifa, we believe in the forces of nature operating in our life. And just what I was explaining to you is attributed to the Yoruba tribe with reincarnation and things like that. So interesting that you got that. Now you have East African ancestry too. East Africa. And again, these bigger terms don't really break down in my deck. That's why it just says East Africa, Asian. I mainly have West African tribes in my deck. All right, so you have learn to speak our language or use a divination tool. So they want you to start communicating with them. They want you to start to understand what they are saying to you. Okay. And when it comes to indigenous ancestors, you have to use indigenous practices. Okay, open it up that part of yourself, because English language, like I said in many videos before one time, it is one of those languages that kind of breaks things down, but not in the best of ways. Because some of the Yoruba language doesn't even translate to English, but they try to pick the next best thing to describe it. And even in that, you're breaking something down that might be very sacred. Okay, so learning to speak an indigenous language would be helpful. Also, using a divination tool, which means using ancient ways to divine. Like for me, I use bones to divine, but you may use shells, you may use symbols and signs. Using those things will actually help you to communicate with your ancestors better. Even meditation is a good way. So you also have the Bamaliki tribe. And I could be saying this wrong, but this is another West African tribe too. It's spelled Bamileke. The Yoruba tribe is spelled Yoruba. Just in case that you couldn't see it. And then you got the Apache tribe. It's Apache. And of course the Cherokee tribe. All right. So this is interesting. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a further breakdown of your ancestry, and then we're going to get some messages from them. Okay, so let's see. All right, they're saying these two are mother side, those two are father side. So you got the Apache tribe and the Cherokee Indian. So this is coming from your mother side. So she has a great Native American ancestry. Okay, the African, well, that makes sense. Okay, because you got two African tribes on the dad's side, and you have two Native American tribes on your mother's. Okay. And with the Native American tribes, I always recommend, because it's going to be hard to trace African ancestry, but with the Native tribes, I always recommend looking them up where they used to be located, because with location, you can tell where they've been and see if you have any great ancestors that used to be in that location. They want you to have more pride in yourself, more pride. Okay. So they want you to start utilizing information from old traditions, okay? As above, so below. So the old stories from, especially Native Americans, they have plenty of stories. The Yoruba tribe does too. But they have stories that basically tell you about life. So if you want a greater understanding on why certain things are, or why certain things don't go together, why certain things happen, why they don't happen for you, look into old traditions and old wisdom, because as above, so below. So everything that happened before in the past is happening now. So that's how most diviners get their information too. This is why they want you to be proud of yourself, because they say you are royalty. It says basically you have the inheritance of their bloodline, and this is gives you a place of leadership, and you're always going to feel like a leader and maybe a person of power in a sense because of your ancestors. It says we have warded off negative plans and plots against you, so they want you to know that you are protected. You also have the Yoruba medicine woman. So it's funny because you have Yoruba ancestry too, but the medicine woman also is a tribute to Native Americans. It says spiritual medicine, healing provided, seeking solutions to issues unseen, herbs, spell work, and cleansing. And you already have this here, herbs, oils, and crystals. This is something that you want to start getting into, learning about spell work, learning about cleansing, and spiritual medicine to help with your world. You have we live by rituals and prayers. They're telling you in order for you to get aligned with them, you want to get aligned with yourself and nature. Okay, you want to be aligned with your own set rituals that you follow that will help contribute to your life staying in order. um they say that you need to be careful about energy that you channel. um Make sure that you can't always be in a good space, but you can intentionally try to be at a higher vibration. Don't let negative energy absorb you. which means if you're in a bad mood, take some time to cool off. Don't feed into that energy, because when you feed into it, you can attract certain energies around you. So try to be in a good headspace if you can, because they're saying keep your head clear, and this will help you to focus on your goals. And they're also saying everything that you do is for a reason. Your hard work will pay off. So they see you working hard at something, and they want you to know that, hey, it's going to pay off. Just keep your head clear. Don't let things get you down. They're warding off negative energies. Um, this is in reverse. What is this? You need to give an offering. In order for you to keep your energy aligned, you want to keep their energy restored. Okay, as you restore them, you're restoring yourself. So it's basically when you give an offering, you're feeding your spiritual self, and then your spiritual self feeds you. Okay, in the physical realm. So make sure that you're giving offering, especially to your native ancestors. You have blessings in many forms, good luck, fertility, and birth. So that means a lot of good things are coming towards you. You have some warrior spirits as well. It says you have our protection, increase your spiritual power to succeed in battle. Participate and connect with your spirit team. So again, learn about old traditions. This is going to connect you to them a little bit closer. Learn about native tribes, learn about their wisdom. Not everything is ready and available, but there's a lot of information that you can obtain through books and things like that. So you do have build an altar or sacred space. If you already have one, you want to add items that are attributed to your ancestry, because this also connects you to them. And this saying getting advanced wisdom. They say love yourself, be proud of yourself. They say that you are intuitive. They want you to start meditation. They say your third eye is open. And this is a confirmation of your spirit guides. You also have the bloodline ancestor. So this means, it says we are proud of you, summoned by your call. So that means whenever you call on them, they're going to come. Okay. Your spirit guides are around you as well. You got witch doctor. Okay, so that means there are some traditional healers that live within your ancestry. So that traditional healing is something that you should really, really get into. They're also saying that you being creative will be helpful to you. And they're showing how protective they are over you. You have you really do have a protective spirit, warrior spirit, watching over you currently. You got a witch doctor, which means there's somebody that is a diviner and healer watching over you. And you also have a spirit guide that is a warrior spirit. Instinct volcanoes. They basically say that you need to pay attention to how you feel, because how you feel is basically how you can divine. You feel things very strongly that, when things are going to happen. This is you introducing yourself to your ancestors. So don't be afraid to get into the wisdom. Don't take everything for face value, especially when it comes to learning about tribes. Okay. There's going to be a lot of speculations of what this person did, of what that person did. But that's where elders come in, because elders will get you corrected on what you assume to be right and what you assume to be, this and that and the other. There's a lot of African tribes that have done things that may not seem like they're ethical to us, but essentially it has its rhyme or reason. Even other tribes around the world, some things we just don't find to be sane this nowadays, but for them it's nothing. Like some people still kill animals and will eat the animal, but for us we might, go to the grocery store and buy an animal. I don't know where you're from, but that's, it's more common for us to see that than slaughter. So a lot of things we may be sensitive to with our eyes, and it can push us away from our tradition. It can push us away from things that are already within our ancestry. So make sure that you do your research and don't judge a book by its cover, because everything has a rhyme or reason, and getting to know these old traditions will help you to understand more about life. They say that you're at a completion too of a cycle in your life. So things are going to start getting better for you as well. Let's see if there's any other messages for you too before I let you go. They want you to focus on what's important, because they see abundance coming for you as well. And psychic development, developing your intuition is going to be important. You also have burden, so this means that you put a lot on your plate. Yeah, you're at a completion because you got death here. That means one thing ends and another thing begins. You got movement into balance, getting your life back into balance. And I'm going to pull these last cards here. That's all that wants to come out. You got victory, relaxation, being easy on yourself, and balance. Wow, you got balance again. So there must be, you put a strenuous amount of energy on yourself. Like you must be one of those people that, overthink things or overdo things, but self-love puts things back in balance. So if you're worried too much about one thing, they're like, yeah, you got Mother Goddess here. So they want you to give some energy back to yourself. Don't put so much on your plate to where you're getting weighed down. When you're getting weighed down, you go out of balance. Do things that are in your best interest and try to keep a level head. Stay focused on your own energy. Give energy back to yourself. Get grounded. Fall back if you feel like you're taking on too many things at once. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you also have another elder. This is a male elder, very wise, old, that's watching over you too. All right, that is your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know that you have received it, and you have a great and wonderful day.